think I try to be as authentic as I can in the interviews. So what they see is what they get. Previous year leading up to it, I was working part-time as like a system IT guy. And so there was just stories I could draw out of that experience and share it at the interview. Try to get as much experience as you can in whatever role you can get, and then share those experiences.
One of my first jobs, I was working in New Zealand's largest hospital. I was working in the technology team in the hospital. Where that sort of integration point lies was that I was able to sort of be that person that bridged the gap between what doctors want, because that was my degree, like what doctors and nurses and physicians want, with like my comp sci knowledge as well, and sort of say, okay, so it's sort of like the role of a BA, a business analyst. You can sort of like bridge the needs of what both parties want and find like the solution that would work for everyone. And then I guess this was especially useful that a lot of jargon that might happen in the hospital, your coders might not know what it is. The jargon that the coders use, the hospital guys don't know what it is. So that you are sort of like that person that understands both languages and you're trying to make both parties happy.
So Accenture by nature is like a consulting company. And so we have such a diverse range of companies that we work with. A lot of those have obviously extremely diverse industries that they work with. So we might have, for example, like a mining company or a social science company or something like that. And so often what we do is we create these systems and the infrastructure in place so that we can interact and that they can facilitate better flow within their own company. Accenture itself has heaps of different sections as well. So I was part of Accenture Technology, but they also have like a finance section and they also have like a business side. And so there's a lot of different aspects within that. By nature, Accenture, you get to work with so many different industries, not necessarily just sciences, but it could be. And so often if you have an interest, you can try and go into one of those sectors.
We don't have a hard restriction on that. You can also apply with only a bachelor degree, but of course a postgrad degree is preferred.
So it definitely changed as I went through my project. So what I was doing was I was working on a specific project internally. So that a certain day in my life would actually change as I went through that. So at the start, it was a lot of specification analysis. So I'd spend my days talking to different members of different teams that my application was specifically targeted towards, and kind of trying to figure out and rapid prototype different potential solutions for that. As it went through, I would spend my days, trying to develop the actual solution, and that would be talking to designers, talking to people who had experience in certain technologies that I was using. And so I think then near the end, it became more of just a classic dev grind, trying to bring that up. But then still, even through that, you'd consistently be talking to people, getting feedback. And I was working with another person as well. So I had a lot of interpersonal collaboration there. So I think it was really enjoyable because I got to experience so many different aspects rather than just a single day-to-day repeated.
I'm assuming what you mean by design questions would be like when a recruiter sits you down in a room and gives you a whiteboard and sort of tells you, okay, talk me through your thought process, or gives you a problem and tells you to sort of like, how would you solve this? An advice that I would highly recommend is that really take your time to plan out what you're going to do. And while you're planning it out in your head, or whether you're making notes or whatnot, really do tell your supervisor, whoever's assessing you, literally tell them your thought process of why you're doing it this way and why you chose to use a specific maybe language or whatnot, and why didn't you do it another way. Actually tell them, okay, I considered this, but I realized that this was better. Sort of like really talk them through every single step. So even if you don't get the right answer in the end, your supervisor or someone can actually understand that, like, hey, this person thinks really logically. I like the way they think. At least they do like evaluate the pros and cons of both solutions before just diving like straight in, trying to answer the question and then realizing that